Influence or influencing? Which one are you doing? That was an unintentional rhyme, but sounded smooth, so I'm going to let it in the tape. Let's see what people had to say on the streets, and we'll be straight back.
So today we're in the streets of Blacktown asking youth if they're being influenced or influencing.
I think at the moment, I'm a very easily influenced person, but I hope that with the influencing, I do get to be an influential person to other people.
I feel like I'm more influenced. Yeah. I just kind of see people who look like me having fun, enjoying life. I try it and it works for me because I feel like that representation is such a big thing. And I'm not, I might be out there, but I'm not out there enough to put myself on social media.
I think I'm being more influenced by social media because firstly I don't make a lot of things, and also every day I use it and I see all these people talking about all this stuff. It really just, I don't know, it changes my opinions or stuff.
So for me, I don't like being influenced by others, but I like to influence others. My friends say I'm very honest, so my reviews and whatever I say to them, they take it in a good way, so that's really great. Yeah. You're laughing, you're making me laugh too.
We're all influenced. We're all influenced. Doesn't matter what you say, what you think, at the end of the day, we are all influenced. And I kind of got the vibe that youths, young men and women, they know that. But I think their worry is more about what type of influence is influencing them and what are they doing to influence the world around them. And as we saw in those interviews, many of them, they want to do what is right, what is good. They want to be the right influence as well as receive good influence for themselves. I want to share with you Sashana's story. She's one of the young women that come to our youth group here, the VYG, Victory Youth Group, and she speaks about how she was influenced, but not for what was good, at least initially in her story, but what was bad. And what was bad led her to depression and other problems. Better me speaking, I want you to see and check out what she had to say. So let's watch Sashana's story. I'll be accompanying you. So let's get down into it.
I'll get so angry where I begin to disrespect my mom, disrespect my siblings, because my dad was the only type of authority in my life. So when he passed, it felt like, okay, no one can talk to me anymore and no one really cares. I came over to this country with my mom, and a couple of years passed and I learned that my father had died.
You see, it's interesting because she comes to a new country. Her father's not around. Sounds like one of those youths that have a lot of free time on their hands. And you know that when a youth who is not surrounded by the most positive or the greatest of all influences, they are most probably going to be around people who get up to no good in rebellious activity, with others who don't have their father around or parents around, and when there's no discipline or some sort of accountability, someone watching over this youth, they can end up doing what is wrong against society, crime, end up hurting themselves because they don't have a mentor, a father figure, or someone over them to tell them what is right and what is wrong. So we already see that this was a challenge for Sashana. This was already a problem.
And that was very difficult for me to handle because I never even got to see him. That led me to seeking attention elsewhere. So I used to seek attention from boys more frequently now because I never used to do that. I used to get involved with smoking weed, which that was never me. And drinking alcohol, I didn't do it excessively, but that was not me.
And she said it herself. How many youths do that? They smoke, they drink, but it's not them. Can be many factors as to why they do that. Perhaps why you do that. Maybe because it's your friends peer pressuring you. Maybe you're just genuinely depressed and sad and down about life, and you want to forget about your problems, and those chemical substances which are not healthy by any means, you take and you hurt yourself, and then you end up depending on them. But the point I want to make is that she was influenced. She said it herself, that wasn't me. Now, of course, before young men and women, her friends and so on, her colleagues and her social circle, no one would have ever thought about this thing of influence and being influenced. It just happens naturally. And this is an issue because many young people think that it's normal, it's part of life, well, that's how it is. When little do they know that that's really hurting them, destroying them, and causing a very problematic future, very problematic near future, not a distant one. But again, she was being influenced not for what was good, but what was bad. She confessed that she recognized that it wasn't her.
And even wearing revealing clothing, seeking that attention, it required me to feel some type of happiness. Okay, somebody wants me, somebody likes me. I would also have episodes with my family members where I would get so angry for the littlest things, literally. I begin to disrespect my mom, disrespect my siblings. My mind literally became absolutely blank. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I didn't know even if I wanted to do something, I didn't know how I would go through with doing so. I didn't know who to ask for help.
And that's the situation of many young men and women. They don't know what to do next with so many problems that it's as if they're waiting for an influencer, whether that be good or bad, and most of the time they're prone to what is bad. They're waiting for that influencer to give them a good argument, do some sort of movement or take some sort of action that ends up making the situation 10 times as worse. Sometimes it's that bad company, good people, let's say, but bad company that says, well, you know what, we're going to fail anyway, so why don't we just do this or do that? Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but you know what I'm talking about. It's those group of people who already concluded that there's no hope for them, so they might as well do something drastic or very serious with their lives, very impacting not only on themselves, but the people whom they live with or the people that they are around. And this is the danger of being dependent on being influenced. So let's continue with Sashana's story.
I would go through with doing so. I didn't know who to ask for help, and that led me in a state of depression, I would say, because when you see no moving forward for your life, when you see no purpose of your life begins to feel like nothing. It feels like you are worth absolutely nothing. And that's literally the mindset I had for many years. I got invited to the UCKG through a college friend. She had invited me to the youth group and I didn't really like it, so I ended up leaving. Then years later, this is when I was very suicidal, and I ended up telling her that I'm planning to take my life. So she tried to invite me again, and at this point I was like, okay, there's nothing to really lose. I remember going up to my youth pastor at the time, and he just looked at me and said, "Are you ready for your life to be changed?" The pastor offered me a prayer and I accepted it. And at that moment, a burden was literally lifted off my shoulders. And I felt a difference. So I really devoted myself in attending these services to learn more about God, to learn more about what I can do to receive God. I learned something about something called the Holy Spirit, and knowing what the Holy Spirit was and who the Holy Spirit was and what the Holy Spirit can do for my life, it was mind-blowing, and I believed at that point that my life could change. I wiped my whole social media, I unfriended people, I deleted pictures and videos. I decided I didn't need that anymore. I also had to break my pride and forgive my mother and my brother and other family members for the grudges that I held inside. This was in the period when the lockdown was still happening, so the 21 days had extended, so I still decided to keep up the faith, to still give my all to God.
You see, as she was being devoted to the Victory Youth Group, coming and learning, you only stick in a place, learn and continue and actually put in practice if you believe in it. So for her, she found the right influence. She found what was good for her, what was benefiting her. And in soon time, we're going to see the consequences of a good influence in life. So let's listen and pay attention.
So I received the Holy Spirit during the Sunday morning service, during Seeking. And I remember the bishop just saying, receive the Holy Spirit. And at that moment, I just believed. After receiving the Holy Spirit, I didn't think I needed the world anymore. I didn't need the attention of boys. I didn't need social media. I didn't need weed to fulfill my happiness. I didn't need alcohol. I didn't feel angry every day. I didn't feel sad every day. I woke up every morning knowing that I had a purpose in life, knowing that my life was going to move forward. My thoughts have changed. It's no longer about myself anymore. I want people to know that God is literally out there waiting for them if they decide to make that decision. If they really and sincerely want their life to move forward, if they sincerely want happiness, there is a way.
This is the HELP Project, a project created by the Victory Youth Group to reach out to young men and women who may be doing it very tough and hard, emotionally and mentally speaking. Every young man and woman deserves to be happy and at peace. The Victory Youth Group goes out preparing these letters that have the word HELP to call attention, that are bright yellow, tying them on places in different locations so that we can reach out to an audience that may be vast and great, and that we may write to them with personal letters, as you can see, of people's stories and testimonies of how their life was transformed. A very simple letter that explains that they one day had challenges and difficulties, but by coming and finding help in the Victory Youth Group, they found the solution to their mental/emotional challenges. And we want to reach out to you who may be facing the same thing. So if you're watching this video and you really need help, join us. We will help you. Being influenced by what is good is essential. It's key. It's key for you, especially at your age, young, because you have a whole future ahead of you. And what you don't want is to start reaping the consequences of bad decision making because of bad influence. So I can't extend myself too much on this because we can be speaking here for hours. But what I do want to say is that the Victory Youth Group helped Sashana. As you just saw, as you just watched, and we want to also extend that help to you. In the Victory Youth Group, you are going to find good influences. In life, we learn the most important things, principles, mannerism, morals. We do believe in God, and He helps us through His law, His knowledge, His understanding to make right choices and decisions in life, to be respectful, loyal, to be faithful, honest, to be upright, fair, just, and so on. And being in a place, in an environment like this, there should be results, fruits. You should see something. And here we have that. So I hope that this, in somehow and in some way, made you understand at least a little bit of the importance of being influenced by what is good, and for you to be a good influence to those who are outside. Remember, young man, young woman, you have a power inside of you to change your social circle, in turn change your little society, in turn change the community, in turn change the world. But it all begins with you. Let us be good influence, okay? It was awesome being with you, and we hope to see you next week with our third program in this new series that we have. May God bless you all, and bye-bye.